Hi Aries, this is your May 2025 soul story. If you've got a sun rising or moon in the sign, it's your reading. It's Romy here. Thanks so much for joining me on my channel. We're going to open up for you this month with the energy of the Eight of Pentacles, the value of you, of what you do, of who you are. There is so much that you have outgrown and that has become outdated, and I'm sure certain to say that you have embarked upon and kicked off and initiated some changes in your life in the past few weeks. And May is about the continuation of that. It's about, in some ways, doubling down and not letting the doubt start to creep in and not second guessing yourself, and actually trusting and believing and knowing that the investment that you're making towards trying to improve some aspect or area of your life is worthwhile and that you are being directed. Now, Pluto moves into a retrograde cycle from the 4th of May. And here we do need to confront some things from the past, right? The invitation, though, as you come up against perhaps some power struggles, particularly like the inner conflict that you might feel in regards to something, is to look at it in a way of, how can I do things differently this time? Because you've outgrown and you've changed, okay? And the kind of acceptance of what you bring to the table, and actually, like, more than anything, what you need for this cycle, but also for this season and this month especially, is like credit and recognition of what it is that you do, that you have, of who you are, that makes you so special, so unique. And sometimes that can be a difficult one, right, to really appreciate or to get the right perception. And I think what you're going to find in the early part of the month is that people are sort of mirroring back to you, Aries. Wow, you're really good at that, and I wish I could do what you do in this instance, or you come across in this way. And so, like, notice where these things are kind of coming up and coming through, because they're meant to be sort of validating signposts to help you feel more confident and trusting in the right way forward. You are choosing to invest in something, and there's definitely this sense of accomplishment and attainment, and there's something actually quite materially successful about the month of May and what it can do for you. I think it's quite a driven and dynamic energy, and what I really like about May is that there are these moments of absolute kind of breakthrough, like moments of brilliance, these kind of aha, the realizations that land, and sometimes they come in quite unexpectedly. But what they will do for you, absolutely, is to help you in any aspect of your life where, an important choice or decision looms. And sometimes, we elect to kind of make a choice because we actively want to make a change. And sometimes we're sort of forced to do it because the way that circumstances or things in our external reality are unfolding. What it feels is that you are reshuffling some things through this month of May. And again, I think that when you realize what it is that you're bringing to the table, it will make you feel more confident and bolder about what it is you need to say, what you need to express. And remember, sometimes that energy of the Two of Swords, even though we might be sticking our head in the sand a little bit, like, ultimately I think you do know the answer here. If you really sat quietly with yourself, I think you would come to a realization of knowing exactly what it is that you need to do, right? And perhaps exactly why you are where you are. And sometimes, like, those sort of truth serums can feel a little bit tougher to to acknowledge. But I think that's incredibly important, and things are going to be different, okay? Things are going to be different. And what you need to remember is that the choices that you're making today are creating the conditions for your future self, right? and you know what your future self is going to have to deal with. And so let's be in alignment with that version of you that you're trying to become and make it easier for them, right, to navigate what happens next. Now, I think an important sort of meeting or face to face also is going to be happening in that first part of May. And you know, the conversation may put a little bit of a sort of, I don't know, it's like you have to think through something with maybe a little bit more consideration. And so it's not like it's not a block, it's just a challenge to kind of make you get super crystal clear about what a bigger plan looks like, and what it is that you're actually trying to achieve here, like what is the outcome. And that's going to be super helpful for you. So I don't want you to feel that either that conversation or even that individual isn't on your side or supportive of something that you're trying to do or what you're asking for or whatever that might be. I think it can be deeply valuable for you. Now, as we approach the full moon in Scorpio on the 12th, you know, that's already an intense energy, and it's further amplified because we've got Mercury and Pluto in the mix, right? So there's something that feels a little bit, maybe a bit triggering, right, around that time. And, you know, for you, it could well connect into how secure you feel around something, how strong the foundations are. You know, can this weather the storm? Can this, you know, stay in a state of balance as I make this change, or as, you know, this evolves in some way. And so there's a bit of soul searching that's going on around that time, okay? I don't think that you're moving in the wrong direction. I think it's really clear for you in the month of May that you've read the signs pretty well and your intuition is talking to you very strongly. But there is a need to resolve some things in the right way to clear the way ahead. So that does mean confronting perhaps some of the elephants in the room or the parts that you haven't really thought through as thoroughly, okay? Again, this is not meant to dissuade you or to make you feel, you know, less confident and less bold or less believing in yourself. It's just giving you more information and insight, which ultimately is going to end up strengthening you, right? And strengthening how you see yourself, like the value of you. And remember, in second house energy, Taurus season, it's very much about that, right? Sometimes to get more, we have to want less. What I mean by that is that, you know, we have to be completely at peace with what we've got and where we are, and we can send out that manifestation, but then we have to detach, right? So there's also a sense of, if you find yourself yearning and wanting and kind of feeling like the real excruciating energy of not being where you want to be at that full moon, it's going to be highlighted because, you know, Scorpio go in with that sort of forensic energy and bring it all up into the light, go deep into the shadow. So, you know, you might be confronted with some things in yourself or in your reality that might be a little bit tough for you. But remember, this is a season of sort of rebirth and resetting, and you're on your way. But having to make peace with everything that sits around you right now, and acknowledging that actually you might have a lot of the essence of what it is that you desire right here and now. It's just that things are in the wrong order. And so that realization is also going to help you get into more of an alignment with what it is that you want to come. Now, I do think that you're going to be having a conversation, or there is a decision that's weighing in that might be connected to finances or money for you as well around that Scorpio. Remember, that's an 8th house that is being activated for you at that moon. The other thing to remind you of is that there's a real magnetism and a very compelling energy that we can harness with a Scorpio full moon. So if you've got something to say, something to present, something to share, you know, if there's passion, love, romance, like anything, like, you know, you make impact, you know, how you move, what you have to say, what you look like all of these things have like this extra dose of sort of appeal and chemistry, and something that's a little bit like untangible, but, you know, sort of has that it factor. And I think that's really palpable around that full moon. So it's a great time to be able to sort of draw attention towards something that, you know, you want to bring focus to, okay? We have Ceres, the asteroid goddess, shifting into your sign on the 16th, and she is absolutely here to support your evolution and particularly your relationship with regards to abundance, how you move in these seasons of cycles. There's something that you've struggled with in the past, and maybe it sort of gets stirred up a little bit in the month of May, you know. Maybe you keep hitting a ceiling with regards to something, or you keep finding yourself in a sort of feast famine cycle. But there's something that feels like it's a challenge. But the thing that I find really interesting about how this energy of May and where you're at, you know, there's this sort of realization of just like, well, like an ownership. It's just like, yes, this is absolutely something that I keep doing or I keep experiencing. And there's a claiming of it, right? But there's also a trust in claiming it, that you know you're right on the precipice of a solution to this, or of a healing of it, and addressing it in a way that it gets dissolved and finally left behind. Because this year is unlike any other year you've had before. There is so much shift and change that is happening. And, you know, the breakthroughs this month are so powerful. So it's almost like there's a superhuman feat that is coming in the month of May to help you get into the mindset, because that's the thing comes first, right? But then also the action that's taken that's going to show you. It's almost going to feel like a bit of a miracle. You're like, I don't know how I did that. I have no idea how I just did that. But you will, okay? You will. Now, the first breakthrough day I want to talk about is the 17th, where the Sun and Uranus come together. And expect the news, the information, the experience, the energy to be really sort of turned up a notch, right? And there's something that it's showing you, something that it's revealing to you. And maybe you haven't been able to see it up to this point because you've gone through something that's really indicated a period of loss or challenge or setback or disappointment. And yet all of a sudden the two flowers still, you know, remaining, still growing, still blossoming, still becoming, are going to be highlighted to you. So you're going to be able to turn around and look at it and go, wow, okay, you know, I can work with this, right? We've then got the second date on the 24th, where Mercury and Uranus come together, and that's when a sort of spark and a conversation or something unfolds by way of news, messages, information that might feel like a bit of a bolt out of the blue. And there's a rising sense of energy. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes these breakthroughs can feel a bit sort of destabilizing, right? Because they might make you question something, or realize that what you were doing or what you were thinking is not going to work, or not the right thing. But all of a sudden another solution is shown or presented. Now that day is important because we also have the Sun and Pluto coming together harmoniously, and we have Saturn shifting into your sign. So that's going to be a biggie, Aries, right? So you're then going to start working, and you've got this kind of seriousness and focus that is absolutely with you, and it's really going to start amping up as you move toward the end of May and into Gemini energy. And remember, that's into a third house for you, so it is challenging the way that you think and the way that you communicate. And perhaps we might need to make some shorter term plans that are a little bit more fluid and adaptable in order for that bigger picture that we have set our sights on to really come together in the right way. But note these dates, right? The 17th, the 24th, and then there'll be another one on the 29th where the Sun and Mercury come together, because the pattern that surfaces is going to be super helpful for you. We're going to make our way towards this new moon on the 26th, okay? And we've got 9 of Cups. This is what I mean. The minute that you're turning around and seeing what the value is of what still exists, what's still possible, the potential that is here, that's something that you absolutely can get on board with, and that you realize, yes, I actually want this. And maybe you need to remember how much it is that you do want it. Maybe you'd sort of had a dream, or there was something that you were really trying for and it just wasn't working out, wasn't happening. You know, you kept having setbacks or disappointments, and you know, you sort of got to the point where it's just like, shut the door, like, I'm not doing this anymore, you know. But there's something about the month of May that reminds you that actually, you know, this is still something that's in your heart and it can't be ignored. And there's almost like this incalculable pull towards exploring it again. But there's also some sort of validating information or breakthrough that helps you to see how to do it a different way, or how you need to even look at it, like what the mindset is around it. And that is honestly like game changing for you. So like I said, there's a very driven, dynamic energy, and that Nine of Cups indicates that there's something that you want that is absolutely within reach, and you can sort of almost taste it, feel it, touch it in moments through the month of May. Does it all come in its entirety? Maybe not quite yet, but you know what to do to keep working towards it and investing in yourself for that. And we continue to get the tests, right? And they're real and they're intense, but they're also ensuring that you create space to step up. And I think that's also one of the things that's going on. And I think there's something so contradictory really about the energy at the moment. All of the sort of messages that are about less hustle, slow down, just find that time to rest. And yet things are moving so quickly and changing so fast that it's almost like takes your breath away, right? And you're like, how do I keep up with this? How do I manage to stay relevant or know where to go or what to do? And I'm being told to sort of disconnect and rest over here, but then everything is just kind of leaping ahead over there. So, I think that conflict in some way is also being felt by you in quite a strong way through the month of May. The answer here is to really decide the rhythm that is right for you in this season. Maybe you're feeling like, actually, I'm feeling pretty good and I can keep up with this and I want to. I kind of want to run with the pack. Or it's like, no, this is my lone wolf time. I really need to kind of forge my own path. So check in with where you're at in your own season and cycle. You're being directed and guided towards the exact right actions that you need to take at the moment. And that might be different to other people. So just keep that in your mind. But there could be a little bit of that conflict that you feel. Now, that new moon in Gemini is significant because it feels to me that it does also bring about like a kind of reminder of who you know or who you want to get to know that can support and help you at this time. So there's a strong sort of networking feeling around it. And I think that the conversations and ideas feel quite buzzy and exciting, and that there's something that you'll put into motion in regards to this that you're going to keep adding to over the next few weeks, and it just feels like it keeps getting better and better and better. So it'll start and begin as a good idea or a good experience that you have, but this is only just the beginning, okay? So there's something to feel quite motivated and excited about in regards to that, okay? Now, if you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards I'm going to look at in the extended reading, talk for another 25 minutes or so, and we'll look at a relationship and a personal question for you. So I hope you'll join me. I'm clarifying these cards just to see where we're going to take that deeper reading for you. The link for that is below, and it's really appreciated if you can join me. It just helps support the channel. We are pulling Queen of Pentacles with that King. Interesting. 10 of Cups. Now, please do check out my website, romywiser.com, if you're new to my channel or if you tune in regularly. If you're looking for a personal reading with me, you'll find my services. You'll also find all my sacred titles, right? These are the creative products that I've got to support you. I've got a journal, a book, an oracle deck. They all work beautifully together. These sacred titles meeting you wherever you are in your spiritual journey. You'll find my membership and also all my sacred soul support. So please take a moment, go check it out. And all the decks I use are always listed below Aries as well. So we're just going to have a look at Life Soul Visions. This one's my deck. What are we adding to this soul story for the month of May? We've got Mirrors of the Mind. We've got the Wishing Tree. That's nice, arriving along with the 9 of Cups this month for you. You've definitely got an upside and a silver lining that's going to bring some positivity your way. Casting out constellations. This is the way, this is the work. We've got soul stories. The sun came through there. And also solstice, which of course will be arriving for us next month in June. Alrighty. Okay, let's have a look at the astrology for Aries for the month of May. What have we got? Right, we've got the energy of a square, a challenging situation and a mountain to climb. We're going to explore what that is in reference to in our extended reading. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you so much. Have a beautiful month, and I will see you again next time. Bye.